In Chimamanda Adichie's TED Talk, The Dangers of a Single Story, she warns her audience that if we only hear a single story based on a person, place, or topic, we miss the critical understanding of seeing it, the totality of that person, place, or topic. It's from that thought that I think of this question, that when you think of climate change, what thought or idea or picture comes to mind? You only think about polar bears? Because when I think of climate change, I think about 6 or 7-year-old black boys and girls with asthma. Their parents scrummage through pocketbooks looking for a nickel or dime. They just want to have enough money for medication for DeAndre or Keisha to be able to play outside with their friends. When I think about climate change, I think about a place in North Memphis called Smoky City. Now, Smoky City got its name because the industrial plant would blow so much smoke into the neighborhood of black families just trying to live their lives. When I think about climate change, I think about a bayou in South Memphis that was later turned into a chemical landfill. Then one day, builders put dirt over that landfill and built a public housing site known as Foot Homes. Now, the kids that lived in Foot Homes would grow up as adults that would later have eczema, ovarian cyst, different forms of cancer, some even having looks so disturbing, more than the walkers from The Walking Dead. Now, if these kids would have went to school, and without knowing this information, they would be called troublemakers, and not thought about because based on Jim Crow era laws, housing discrimination, food deserts, housing discriminations, and industrial zones, that their environment and community is literally killing them. When you think about the leaders of these environmental justice organizations, are they upper middle class, academically educated white people? Because the real leaders are impoverished, poor, oppressed black and brown folks that are doing this not because it's a trend, but because their lives and their families' lives depend on it. Now, I know we're in Des Moines, Iowa, but I'd like to welcome you to Memphis, Tennessee, a city that is 61% black, yet the minority Caucasian community has most of the power. Welcome to Memphis, where it's the second poorest large city in the nation and the most energy-burdened city in the United States, where people pay their electric and public utility bills to the only public utility in the area, where people pay 25% of their paychecks just to have water and electricity. That's double the average national cost. And don't miss a bill, because if you miss a bill, all you'll have is a home without water, electricity, heat, or air. Now, some people would hear this and say, you know what, maybe Memphis should give up as a city. And that's probably why I tell you to shut the hell up. Because right now, Memphis has the opportunity to push hope that is serious. My organization has commissioned a report that says that Memphis can save up to $200 to $300 million a year just by simply changing where they get their electricity. Matter of fact, they could even start their own solar distribution center. That means more jobs. That means uplift of the community. That means a more healthier society. The real leaders are those that experience a lot of the pollution that has created climate change. Let me leave you with this last thought. One day I'm going to die, and this world's going to keep on spinning. But don't feel bad about that, because one day you're going to die, and this world's going to keep on spinning. But the question really is, what type of world are we leaving for those that we leave behind? Our loved ones, the love of our lives, our children. I have a wife, 3 dogs, 2 brothers, their wives, and their children, and hopefully one day I'll have my own children. And I want them to be able to be left in a world that's more safer for them, instead of hearing a single story about climate change that does not tell their story, instead of me being a voice that says the complete story so that all of us know how climate change affects us all. We need to make sure that we're listening to the communities that really experience climate change, and they're not always in some far-off country. They're right here in our local communities. Let's make sure that we're making energy moves that push hope, because hope, now more than ever, is truly serious. NLC, thank you for just letting me tell my story, but also just a slight story of Memphis. And NLC, let's make sure to keep on leveling up.